Hello, my sewing friends. I'm Jen, and I made some pants, and I did something to them that made them fit my body like amazingly. I was so impressed that I figured out this one simple little thing. And I went to explain it in the video where I talked about it, and I did not make myself clear because unfortunately, I am not a sewing teacher. So that kind of added up to I explained it badly in the video, so I chopped it all out. And then I've made a couple of, tried to do a couple of things where I filmed the whole process and it didn't work out either. So here I am. And I'm going to show you how I made these pants, which are from this pattern. This is Simplicity 8848. I had said I'd made these pants before and I wanted to try them again. So I did. I got some white poplin out and I did it. It was a simple thing that I did to fix these so that they would fit me. And I made these pants actually specifically to illustrate how I did that. So here is a little bit of an explanation as to what's going on. So, great pair of pants, huh? They have a flat front and an elastic waist, but the fit isn't exactly what I want. And here's the problem. While a lot of people would be okay with how far this crotch seam comes down, it is a good 3 inches below where I want it to be. So I have a fix for that. So what I have done, I did this in another pair of pants that I recently altered. I pull it up a little bit in the front, and that pulls it up just enough to be comfortable for me. Now that's really more where I'd like it. Now I've pinched out about a half an inch going in, so that would be a half inch on the bottom, half inch on the top, so an inch total. So I pulled it in about an inch, and what I'll do is I'm going to go into this inseam here and I'm going to offset it by about that much by pulling the front towards the back, but allowing for that inch difference. Let me show you what I mean. Before I get started on anything having to do with these pants from this Simplicity pattern, I want to tell you that the way that they tell you in the instructions for the Simplicity pattern to put together these pants is not a way that I would do it if I thought that I was going to have to do anything with regard to shortening the crotch seam. Let me explain. I have these two little tiny parts of pants that I cut out. I've got a front and a back. Now, the way this pattern tells you to put the pants together, and a lot of patterns will do this, I think, what they'll tell you to do is sew the front to the back at the inseam and the side seams. And then you take one leg and you turn it and you put it inside the other in order to join them at the crotch seam. Okay, well, that's all fine and well, but that did not serve me when I went to make the alterations that I made on my pants. So what I would advise is that you do it this way. First of all, you serge or finish your edges on each piece. And by the edges, I mean the inseam and the crotch seams. And then you put your two fronts together and your two backs together and you sew that crotch seam. Then what you'll do is you open it out like this. Looks like a little teeny tiny pair of pants. And you put front to back, right sides together. And then what you're going to do is stitch this inseam all in one seam, all in one go. And then what you'll do is stitch your side seams and you turn them inside out and you have a little pair of pants. That's what I would do. That's why it worked for me to be able to do this alteration on these pants. So what I did was I had already constructed these pants. So I went in and I took out the inseams. I've got threads everywhere. I redid them. I had already serged these edges and pressed that seam open, but I did the same thing here. And here's the thing, if you do that, you can work with this seam a lot more easily. And the inseam is really what you're going to work with. So I marked 1 inch up from the stitching line here. My seam allowance is here, and then my stitching line was right there, and I marked up 1 inch. And I flipped it over, and then I marked my stitching line so I would be able to see where it was on the back side. And I matched up that 1 inch line with the seam line here, and that extended that front crotch seam out this way where this back crotch seam was. So I pinned this, and then I kind of blended it out into this inseam like that, like that. And I didn't want to go very far out, you know, way down the line of the inseam, because if I had done that, then I would have been scooping out too much right in here, and I didn't necessarily want to do that. I just wanted to get that crotch seam shortened in the front, and that's the longer piece. It doesn't make sense, does it, that it's longer in the front because it's shortened? But that's what I did. I took out that inch from up here, pulled it out, restitched it, and now what I have is an inseam and a crotch seam that fit me so much better. I want to tell you this. Everybody's body is different. Your body is different than mine, and mine is different than hers, and hers is different from hers. You know, it's like everybody's got a different one. My measurements, let me tell you what they are. My bust line is about a 39. My waist is about a 24 to 24 and a half, and my hips are about a 38. So that's what I'm working with. I'm very short-waisted. The distance between my waistline and my hips is very nominal. I mean, a lot of people have, my kids have 3-4 inches. I've got about 1.5 inches to 2. So very short-waisted, which is a lot of the reason that I needed this hack to fix my pants. I also have very long legs. Okay, I say all of this to let you know what my body is shaped like. And if your body is not shaped that way, this might not work for you. So keep that in mind, and maybe take that as a starting point for something you might want to do to make your pants fit you a little better, or at least identify a problem. There are a bazillion pants fitting methods, programs, instructions, tutorials, you know, that you can find online. I just happened to think maybe this will work, and I did it, and it did. I hope that helped you in some way, just any possible way possible. I hope it helped you a little bit, and at least now you know I'm not gatekeeping or, you know, trying to string you along or anything like that. I'm just a terrible teacher, and I am not a very good YouTube filmer production person, nor am I a good editor. So I really did try, and I was going to get this out on Tuesday, and it just didn't work. So there you go. I hope it helped. Let me know if it helps you, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.